Yo, what's good, YouTube? What's good? It's Stormy B-Man, and I am back. Welcome to the Stormy B-Man post-fight show, UGAS versus RAMOS, for this Sunday evening, September 6, 2020. And I am joined with my man, Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens. What's going on with you, Reggie? How you doing, bro?
Oh, doing.
Man, we had a few, but some people starting off with some mess out here. So we're gonna address that first and foremost. Get them out. Anyway, a nice long early evening of fights, man. Two broadcasts we had on Fox Sports 1, and then followed up on Fox, regular Fox, and PBC broadcast. What are your thoughts on it overall before we get into the specifics, bro?
There were some fun fights. I don't think I caught all the FS1 card, but I did come over to catch this main event here. Did watch a little bit of the main event to the FS1, and I caught a little bit of Barthelomew's fight.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's something going on with the no, it's okay. You know, sometimes it's like YouTube be messing up for some reason. You know how when you can read it and it says your settings and analytics, all that stuff is clear, but it still look like it's acting up a little bit. That's what I was reading here on my end. Hey, we got trolls this evening, brothers, so just be on guard and be on the lookout for it and to get rid of them, okay? On site. They out there this evening. Haters. But anyway, yeah, Reggie, I was able to catch the entire thing, but what I really hated was when I got to the UGAS fight, then my streaming wanted to start buffering, man, for whatever reason. So I was in and out on the UGAS fight. I couldn't see it very clearly. For certain seconds of each round, it was like acting up, man. It's like it didn't act up on anything else. Only when I got to the UGAS fight. So I was still listening to you though, and listening to you call it. So I ended up having it scored. I think I scored it 9 rounds to 3 or 10 rounds to 2 or something like that. What did you have it in your overall looking at it?
I had it 9 rounds to 3, but then there was also 3 very close rounds that I felt could have went either way. But overall, I had it 9 to 3. I thought you guys would have still edged the fight, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was just weird. How I ran into those buffering situations, but where would you like to kick it off? Because I know we had a few matches, and since you were calling them, we don't have to get right into the main event unless you want to, but we can chop it up for what we had for this evening.
Yeah, I want to go right into the main event if we could.
Okay, let's do that. So upon reflection, what is your overall end assessment of both guys and what you were able to see according to what they brought this evening?
Man, I thought you guys started out very good in the beginning of the fight, man. It looked promising. I thought in that first round he was establishing that jab. He was able to keep this guy on the outside, maintain that range, maintain his distance, maintain his height, didn't really give up anything. But going into that round where he got wobbled, man, that dude ended up decking the hell out of UGAS and he let UGAS off the hook at that point where UGAS, and the problem with UGAS is when he's hurt, he gives it too many signs that you hurt him. Like he smiled at the guy. Anybody else would have went for the kill on UGAS and got him up out of there. But continuing on into the fourth round, I felt UGAS was won that round pretty easily. Then going into from rounds 5 on throughout the fight, he went away from maintaining height and range. He started moving his way on the inside. I've seen it early, like he's inching his way in. He's going in his high guard, moving in closer. And then that guy was able to start getting those jabs in there, going down to the body. It's like, because before he was barely able to touch UGAS. The only reason why he hurt UGAS in that third round is because UGAS moved on the inside to exchange and throw a punch and got caught with a hook. But so now it's like you didn't gave the fight up. I mean, gave this distance to where you was able to control things, and now you're making it harder to judge some of these rounds. That's why I had rounds 5, 6, and 7 as two, they're tight. And I was asking people in the comments what they thought. So I'm like, I thought that was a very bad and very poor strategy for you guys. And then as the fight started going on, this guy begins to gain confidence. He was able to take all of the punches that you guys threw on him, you guys loading up, hitting him with a few heavy shots when he did go away from the jab, and also being a little bit too rushed on wanting to knock this guy out of here because he felt like he needed to get this guy out of here after he got hurt that time, to where he threw a hook so hard that shit threw him out it almost threw you guys out the damn ring.
Yeah.
But this guy started to gain confidence, and he begins to use effectiveness, an effective jab, and then going down to the body at times. And it was just a bad showing because then you guys started gassing in the fight. You see him breathing deep. He's giving these looks like in that corner, like, damn, what the hell I got to do to get this guy up out of here? So now for you guys to speak about himself being a boogeyman, that story just goes completely out the window, especially being in here with a guy named Ramos, who really took you guys, he made you guys really work for this win. But all in all, you guys got the victory. He pulled it out, but Earl Spence, Danny Garcia, even a Keith Thurman is going to be a different story inside this ring against you guys. And I think he really needs to reflect on what happened in this fight. Now that judge, the one judge who scored that crap for Ramos, 117-111, it adds to the other problem within this damn sport, and this is the judges. But that's all I got on that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the round. There was a round when you were calling out, and I said that these guys are fighting in too close proximity to not be active, to not be doing anything. UGAS fights with a lot of weight on his front foot, and he fights with his shoulders squared up. Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford, and Danny Garcia will eat him alive because they are fighters with just enough of what needs to be utilized in countering what he brings to do away with him. Sean Porter had a little more difficulty with him because Sean was, his physical dimensions were smaller than UGAS, so he couldn't get necessarily in range to do certain things unless he gets touched up too. But Garcia, with his ability to counterpunch, UGAS doesn't look like he takes a clean shot very well. He looks a little bit chinny to me, and he won't be able to get out of the way of Danny's well-timed counter shots. Earl, a little more versatile with being able to let punches go inside on the angles and things like that, and him being squared up to Earl would be detrimental with all that weight on the front foot, and Earl would definitely go to the body and empty his tank. But Crawford could do the same as far as, boxing from angles and things like that, and he is a sucker for an uppercut 8 days, out of a week. So it's like there are things that I could see that some of these other fighters could do to him. It appeared to me that Ramos was not willing to take some chances, but he's a puncher, and as a puncher you have to take the chances that are before you because that's what you rely upon, your punch. And tell me, when did it look like UGAS could actually get out of the way of a punch if Ramos decided to let him fly. He didn't look like it to me. And it was very frustrating because even in the last round, just before the bell, when he let something loose, he hurt the man. So at what point during the fight did you see them edging him on from the corner saying, hey, you know, you got to get out there and let your hands go. You got to do this. You got to do nothing. And in the rounds that you called where you noticed that UGAS was running, his energy was running low, excuse me, that would have been the time to encourage Ramos to go up, you know, step it up and definitely go to the body more, you know, to help to empty the tank faster. Man, it is so frustrating watching these things and you see that they're not doing what needs to be done and not even receiving the instructions, man, from the corner. It's one of those things that makes you feel, you know, like you wish you could have an impact on that. Did you or were you able to see these weaknesses that UGAS was showing that I referred to as you were watching the match?
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of weakness in UGAS, and also what people point out about, he seems to only have that one gear, and that's starting to become evident with UGAS, is him having the one gear. I've seen him throwing a few combinations when he let his hands go, but when he does that, he's wide open. And going in there, if he does that type of stuff, going in there, leaving himself open, throwing those little quick combinations, and the combinations are only down to the body. That's perfect for Danny Garcia. That's perfect for a Keith Thurman. That's perfect for a damn Terrence Crawford. They will expose the hell out of you, Dennis UGAS. And where he just sits back, he doesn't try to go out to control a fight. He doesn't go out there to look to break down the damn opponent. It looks like he's just in there scoring. And that's not going to work for him. And especially when he's dealing with judges that will make a call like they did tonight, he'll get himself played. Because there's even another fight that he lost on a decision in. I'm trying to think of what fight it was where I thought he won it. But because of the way he fights, he leaves too much on the table. And that's the reason why he lost that fight by decision.
Now, what was the deal with these scorecards? Because I was getting ready for the show. I heard the final decision was for him, and I got up and left the room, but I didn't really get to hear the scores. It was split decision, right?
Yeah, he got the split decision, and he's over there breathing deep because the first score that gets read is a 117 to 111 for Ramos.
Wow. And
that's when that panic set in, and everybody's like, where the hell did this damn judge get a damn 117 to 111? There's some judge named Dr. Lou Moretti. Then the second two judges are the ones that bailed him out, where they found it 115, 113, which was a much reasonable score. But even with that score, it shows how close the damn fight was. I mean, this dude leaves too much on the table. He leaves way too much on the table. It's too close for comfort when it comes to calling a fight. Because if it would have went one more, the fight would have went the other way, one more round. I mean, shit. If Ramos could have just put a little bit more together, he could have closely etched out two of those rounds and making it a draw. And this is the issue with you, Dennis. He really has to step up some. He really has to go in here and take more risk. But going into the top levels, he's going to have to take a risk. And he's going to have to go in there and either try to stop a guy or get knocked out. He has to, because there's no way he's going to edge a scorecard against some of these champs out there, unless there's a judge out here just looking to knock a champ off the pedestal. But these other guys at the top, these guys are finishers and closers. And that's what makes the 147 at the top such a hot-seated damn division. It's a hot division. But you guys fighting in this kind of style, it ain't gonna damn work. It is not gonna work. And he has to start realizing that, especially going here and damn near getting knocked the hell out by Ramos. And Ramos just didn't step on the gas enough to see about going and close him out. There was a little bit more time when he caught UGAS in that last round. He could have finished UGAS. UGAS was hurt pretty bad when he stumbled across in that ring and shit. And if Ramos would have seen what he did to the guy and start to get busy and open up, he would have found something, man. Yeah, but this was a good win, but UGAS could have did much more, and it shows there's some issues with this guy not pressing UGAS like that. If to watch UGAS fade like that, he's going to have to get in better cardio shape.
Well, there's also another telling factor is that Ramos is not an A-class fighter. So if UGAS is supposed to be all of that, what's going to happen to him in there with an A-class fighter, especially when this guy was able to touch him up and put him, you know, in some situations a couple of times during this fight? That's a question that his people and he are going to have to answer as soon as they get in there with the A-class fighter. And we've got about 4 of them out there that, hey, he could face. You know, there's something to be said about that. I don't believe that he has enough to deal with these guys on that level. He has a, you know, he has that, I consider it, you know, that Cuban style, that pro-am style that he has, that he brings. The real quality class American fighters, they can deal with that the professional style over that pro-am style. You know, there are things that you do. You use perpetual motion, you use athleticism, you know, you run those numbers. When we talk about running the numbers, those are combinations. You don't throw just a single shot or a double shot over and over and over again that you saw Ramos doing all night long. Ramos didn't even fight with a traditional, what they call the Mexican style, where you put pressure, the left hook to the body, the jab, the straight right hands. He didn't even fight with that. And being a guy who's supposed to have a punch, he actually took himself out of the fight by not executing, by letting his hands go. And that scorecard by that one judge, having it 117, that's preposterous. It's like that should not even, definitely put a red marker under that guy's name. Reggie, who's that? Dave Moretti?
No, it was Lou Moretti.
Lou Moretti, okay. Yeah. So it's, you know, we have to keep.
Moretti. Sorry about that, Lou Moretti.
Moretti, okay. Yeah, we have to keep our eyes on him. You know, because this might not be the last time you hear his name with something so ridiculous. You know what I mean? Derek Bailey offers a comment in the chat that we should pay attention to. He says, UGAS is Cuban. He might be 50. You very well may be right. He's definitely got a receding hairline. Not that that really means anything nowadays, because young men can have receding hairlines as well. But yeah, you know, he could be 50. And what do you think about that, Reggie? That's a whole new way to look at things. You know, when you talk about some of the ages of the Cuban fighters, some of them have always been anywhere between 5 to 10 years older than what they say they are.
I mean, that's crazy. That's the issue with the Cuban fighters, is that they will come into a game being that much older. I don't know, man. I don't know what to think on that one. But where did that story come from with Cubans, that they conceal their age like that?
Well, a lot of them, you know, a lot of them when they were boxing in the amateurs, they would change their ages so they could stay amateur for a longer period of time. You know. And then when they turn pro, they may even tweak the ages for that reason too, especially if they're going to have some type of a you know, pro career that they, you know, they intend to be around the sport for a little while. You know, I'll tell you something. Vasily Lomachenko might be a little older than they say he is. And the reason that I say that is because the effects of his, that are on his face, I would say his last few fights, when when the fights are over, he just looks more worn than a guy that's supposed to be the age that he is. Usually you see guys who've been around a lot longer looking like that, and it's just something about how the tissues hold up and everything through the trauma and the battering and the punishment that they take in the sport. When you're younger, your skin has more elasticity to it, and the moisturizing in the flesh and everything is totally different. When you get older, the skin just doesn't react to the punishment that you take as well. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain it for me to explain it or whatever, but I know when I see it, I can tell. It's like the difference of looking at Sugar Ray Leonard when he was like 38 in there with Hector Camacho and everything, and then when he was 28, when he was in there with other fighters, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the way his appearance looked even after a fight, if you've gone the distance or whatever. It's just the difference in how they look, man. It's just something. And Ugas did seem to have that appearance. Even late in the fight, I was looking at his face, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was anywhere between 5 and 10 years older than what they say he is. It wouldn't surprise me at all. You won't be able to tell by his physical conditioning because he keeps himself in pretty damn good shape.
Right. Yeah, that'd be crazy though, man. But damn, man, the Cubans is that bad, man.
Well, even Golovkin, he looks the same. Look at him, and for the age that they say he is, they say he's 35 now or something like that, 36. But don't he, if you just look at him, don't he look a little older than that? Seriously. And it very well may be true. You can always kind of consider those guys who had those extensive amateur careers who are foreign, because sometimes they made money off of that from their countries. They earned a living being amateurs. That was like a profession. And then they turn pro and they come over, and then they come overseas and compete in the sport. And, it's just something, we might have to even do a show on that one day. It's like talking about that subject. But, I think that Ugas, if there's someone out there that want to take him, this little strap that he has, they should do it right away. Maybe one of those guys like Boots Ennis can get a shot with him or whatever. That'd be a quick way into the side door, going through that guy, because I don't think he could handle someone like Boots Ennis. Too much speed, too much power, too much youth, and I would love to see that fight. What do you think about that, Reggie?
Wait, say that once again, because it's my end in the freezing.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was saying, what do you think about Boots Ennis getting a chance at Ugas? I said I think he's got too much speed, too much youth on his side, and it would be a great look for him to get in there and get a name like that.
Oh yeah, I think that's a hell of a fight matchup, because I'm ready to see Ennis step up anyway. Ennis needs better names on his record, and I think UGAS would be a good name to put on there. It'd be a good way to gauge. It'll be a good way to gauge where Ennis is at. He passes the eye test, so now it's time to see what he looks like beyond the paper. And I think this would be a good one. And it also tests to see where the hell UGAS is at, to see if he's ready to go up against these other guys. But it's a good way to gauge both of them. I think Ennis has all the abilities from what we see, but now it's just seeing how to deal with a fighter like UGAS, if he can deal with that. I don't want to get too high up on Ennis as of yet until I see him fight a guy like this. He looks impressive. He looks great against the guys they put him in there. Now, this is the fight to make. This is definitely the fight to make. The other thing, I like the fact that this is for a goddamn belt. So I think Ennis should go after this dude.
Yeah, man. Salute to Lawrence Williams out there. He says Loma has been bruised up in one or the other since moving up to 135. He says shoulder tear versus Linares, face bruised up versus Pedraza, broke hand versus Kroller, and face bruised up versus Campbell. Yeah, and then he says Triple G is 38. So if Triple G is 38, he more than likely probably 42. That's about 5 years, you know, turning 43 that you could put on Triple G. Because he just looks, I'm telling you, they don't age like we do, Reggie. You know, certain things start to go. And then when you talk about like what Lawrence laid out, what was going on with Lomachenko physically, that's when your body starts to break down. When you pass 35 and you going up into the 40s and stuff like that, it's like you could sustain those type of injuries and everything just because your body is beginning to break down, you know. And that's just something to be considered when you talk about these fighters that are aging. Now, I didn't want to take it too far into a conversation on aging fighters, but it wouldn't surprise me if your Dennis UGAS is a little bit older than what they say he is. It wouldn't surprise me in the least bit. You got any final thoughts on that fight or anything to offer about Ramos?
Yeah, no, I just wish Ramos would have turned it up, man, just to give us an idea of how does UGAS battle his way through real true adversity rather than just being hurt for the moment and not having a guy to hop on it, because that's what UGAS would have needed to really show himself in moments like this, because any other one of these fighters out there who would hurt him like that, they'd have been all over UGAS. And I would like to see how does UGAS handle himself in moments like that. And that's the only thing I wish Ramos would have pressed on a little bit more. But he started to build up as this fight went on, and I wish he would have had a little bit more of a killer instinct in this fight. Not saying to get to me wanting to see him win, but also because you want to see fighters in tough fights, so you want to see how do they overcome certain adversities, and that's what I wish Ramos would have did, is step the gas on a little bit more on him.
Yeah, I got you. So next up on the card, you want to talk about Ramos' young, what is his nephew or whatever, Jesus?
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
You know, he fought a guy who had those physical dimensions that were slighter than he, just like Jamel Herring, last night. And how he handled his situation, he handled it like a pro, like a champ. And I like to see that kid progress. I would like to see him, I don't know who his trainers are, but I would like to see him get a little more flexible. He seems just a tad stiff, but he looks like he's going to be a strong guy. He's young. I think he's 19 years old. So he's kind of tall for the weight, but he went about his work very well this evening. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, the first thing I thought about when watching him is this is what the hell Jamel Herring was supposed to do last night. This kid fought well off the jab. He found the right moments to throw that right hand, and a jab is just an effective enough tool. And staying out of danger of not leaning forward, not running or falling forward when you're throwing the jab. Just throw the jab from the distance, put enough pop on it, and he started to really gain a ton of respect out of the guy he was in there with. And the guy seemed to be afraid once he got touched up a little bit by that jab and start to move away. He dipped his head in the wrong direction. That guy was coming right up underneath to catch him or coming over the top with that right hand. And this kid just boxed a beautiful style fight. Now, going in that second round, when he finished him, this guy was taking all sorts of punishments, just getting popped all over the damn head. He was seen to be concussed in there. His body started to lock up on him, but he wouldn't drop. But that's when someone is supposed to be in there to stop the fighter. And I thought the refs could have gotten there a little bit earlier, but more on the damn team. I see some real trash shit from a lot of these corners to where they don't respond when they see a fighter in there, a fighter who really doesn't stand a chance in there against the opponent he's in there with. He's down there in there with somebody with so many advantages over the dude, but at that moment when he hurt the dude was hurt bad and taking many heavy, solid-ass punches. I thought the ref got in there a little bit too slow, and the corner was nowhere in sight. The corner was nowhere to react. The towel something should have been thrown up in there because this guy wasn't going to make it. But, yeah, that's what I seen in that one. But the guy boxed excellent, and I like that out of Jesus Ramos.
Yeah, he's somebody I'll keep an eye on because he looks like if they can, steer him along the way properly, he might be able to grow into something. He's very young. I would not rush him. That's the thing. They got to get out of that thing about rushing these young guys. There's so many titles and stuff out there. Winning the title should never be on their mind. What should be on their mind is the development of that prospect to make him the best he can be. And there's some things that I see there with him. This is, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he fight either on the Earl Spence undercard with Sean Porter, or it was a Deontay Wilder with or Luis Ortiz? When was that? I know I saw this kid before.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have to look up on his box rec because I don't think I've seen him, but I'll look at it real quick.
He was on somebody's undercard on one of those pay-per-views. That's where I first saw him. And, I just think, that he has some space to grow. He's nowhere near the Ortizes and Ennises and stuff like that, but he's a guy that's just, coming up. He's coming up, and you keep an eye out for him in the future. I know we had a request in the chat that Derek Bailey was asking about the Bartholomew fight. Were you able to see the Bartholomew fight? Because I know you said on some of those Fox Sports 1 broadcasts you didn't see everything.
I didn't catch the full fight. I caught it right as he was knocking this guy down, so I didn't even know what round that was.
Okay, we'll get to that. So before we get to that, let's talk about the fight of the night, man, where we had a chance to see your boy, Juarez versus Linger. The cop. Oh, come on, Reggie. Now, that fight was something else, man. Because that dude was supposed to be just an opponent, but he came out there and he fared pretty well as an opponent, man. He did not lay down. He came to throw down. And Mr. Juarez found himself in a real fight, man. Even though I scored the fight, unanimous decision for him, I had him winning 6 rounds to 2. It was an 8-rounder, But, man, Mr. Linger came to fight, bro.
Hey, Linger was a tough ass cop, man. One tough cop, man. He had no skills though. He looked like he was on broken legs, like his legs just healed. And the way he would hold that arm out, telegraphing it, I'm like, Ramos. I mean, what was that dude's name? His name was Ramos. His name was, wait, where that my card at? Juarez.
Juarez, yeah.
Juarez supposed to get this guy up out of there. And I'm like looking, as I seen, I didn't even have to see Linger throw a punch. It was just looking at him stand in his stance. I'm like, where the hell they find this damn dude? Then I think in the second, third round, showed he was a damn cop. I'm like, what the hell? Like, he looked like a cop. The way he hold his guard up, like he got the baton, he got the gun in one hand and shit. But Juarez did too much trying to style, posing. He'll throw a shot, try to look cool, like a photo's been snapped of him. He'll throw a pivot, throw a punch, let the punch hang out there, withdraw his arm back like he's cool and stuff. I watched him flip his hair over like he's some damn movie star or some shit. I'm like, what is this guy in here doing, man? Like, get this guy here. Then this dude Linger started to gain confidence. And Linger started throwing hooks. I was worried about Linger throwing the way Linger throw that right hand when he throw it and kind of dumps it over. He throws his body into it. I'm like, this dude War is gonna get caught with something, and he's gonna get knocked out in this fight. And what's the name? He just showed he had tough heart, and I gave him some rounds in this fight. I gave him like 2 rounds out of this 8-round fight.
That's what I'm saying. That's how I scored it.
Yeah, but he gained once he gained his confidence, he was battling back.
Listen,
and the other thing, the only thing that saved was this guy got tired. This guy started to get tired, but he stayed on his feet. He pressed on. And matter of fact, he started tiring out Dan Juarez. Juarez was having to dig deep in his fight, but they was going back and forth and thumping. I was just waiting as I'm looking. I was waiting because I thought Linger was going to end up dropping Juarez.
Listen, man, there came a point in that fight where Linger was like asked a question, and he answered it with, "I ain't going no damn where." Dude, he started fighting back. And I heard you say something during your commentary about it. You said this is like Rocky Balboa. I was laughing because it was true, man. This guy was like giving his effort, man. And I had commented in your chat. I said, if Juarez ever found himself driving through Linger's neighborhood, he getting shot. Because this dude gonna get it, man. But no, seriously, I'll tell you something. That man deserved a bonus, after his performance, because he did not come to lay down. He did not come to just he was freaking trying to win, Reggie. And he did not have the skill set that Juarez had. Probably had not the amateur fights or whatever. But when I made the comment in your chat about it's hard to gain separation when the talent is so close to being equal or whatever. It was true, because if you look at Juarez's effort, he was out there posturing and posing and everything like he was taking photographs before he let his shots go and stuff. And it was funny to me because the other guy was bopping him upside his head. And just imagine if that guy was as well trained or invested as what they've put into Juarez. Juarez would have gotten knocked out. This guy's a full-time cop and a part-time fighter, and he fought on national TV like that. He's going to get a call back. And you probably won't see Juarez for a minute, but that guy will get a call back on PBC. Al Heyman and them people, they're going to keep that dude's name close to the front in the Rolodex. I guarantee you. Seriously. And you know what? He was entertaining. He was entertaining because of his efforts. And everybody love a good cop story, right? So just look at this. This was one of those situations that, and like when you said how he was trying to crank that right hand up like he was Popeye or something, that had me rolling, man. But the guy gave a great effort. And we enjoyed it. It was an entertaining match. And the other guy, he nearly bit the bullet a couple of times. If a couple of those shots could have landed clean, and just like Derek Bailey says out there in the chat, salute to Derek Bailey, he said he was tough. And he was like, when he ate that liver shot, though. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, those are the kind of guys you want to see them get a little bit of a bonus, because they give you your viewership's worth when you watch them, man. And that's why I called it the fight of the night, because it was so entertaining watching him in there. He was teetering like he might go away, right? But then somewhere he would get some kind of resolve and come back. Like Rocky. It was like he was in there to be in there, bell to bell. You got to respect that. You got to take your hat off to fighters like that, man. We got champions, like the one that fought last night, that don't give that type of blue chip effort. Seriously.
Yeah, the other side of it, how I look at it is, what it say for the class of fighters that are out there, that this guy, who doesn't take this as a full-time job where he's constantly in the gym because of his primary field of work, that he can come in here against a boxer who is getting support that's put behind him, so he's training a lot. Because you seen the guy had the better levels of skill, but when it came to and damn near take his ass to task to be able to land punches like that, hit him with some very strong, solid punches, Ramos had to start questioning himself. And he needs to question how serious is he taking boxing? What kind of time and training is he putting inside that gym? Because if this is all he's putting in there, he may need to drop somebody, or if it's him and the coaches are trying to get stuff up out of him, he's going to need to wake up. He should not be satisfied with even getting this win. He let this guy with this skill level be able to touch him in the way that he touched him. This dude was landing big shots up on him, and a guy with relatively novice level skills and shit, landing good punches, and got so confident that he just started to relax. All that little jittery unbalancedness started to kind of wane his way. But the dude was also flat-footed and was almost when he was backing Ramos up. What his name? Juarez. And it was a bad look from my standpoint on what he did, but he needs to go in there, and something's got to change with Juarez, because going forward, if he gets in here with a more serious boxer, he's going to get crushed, and he's going to get crushed bad. And leaving his hands down the way he does, the styling, posing for the photo too much, mark my words, when you see this guy get knocked out, and that's going to be because he's not cleaning things up. He's trying to look too cool, trying to style, or whoever he's looking good for. Maybe he's looking good for Instagram. I guarantee I go on to Instagram, it's probably going to look just to see how does this fighter carry himself. But it's bad he let a guy relatively off the streets level of skill in the sport take him to a war. And like you said, take him towards like fight of the night.
Yeah, and to go back to the chat for a second, where Lawrence Williams says Linger has that right hand cocked back like he about to throw a football. Yeah,
Right.
it's true, man. And Bruce Gold says it turned out to be the most entertainment on the card. It really was, because here was a guy who didn't have half of what the other men that were on the card was supposed to have, and he gave the most, sincere effort. You know what I mean? In the first round, he had a couple of bruises and batters on his face, from being hit. And like I said, at some point, he said, damn this, I'm going the distance, and he did. Have to respect guys like that. You have to, man. It's awesome when guys come in and put forth that type of effort, man. It's awesome. So when we get back to the earlier fights for the PBC card, I was asked about the Bartholomew. That fight ended with a third round KO. And I had it going into the third round, 1 round each, because Dulé had in the second round turned the fight up a little bit with some body shots, and he was firing back off of everything that Bartholomew had to offer up. But he got caught with some solid shots by Bartholomew in the third round, and it ended up being a KO win for him in the third. But I like Dulé's effort. He tried, but he was not in there to win. He was only in there as an opponent. And Bartholomew tried to come in a lot serious than he did the last time I saw him. And I think I had comment the last time I saw him that he looked so bad getting knocked out. I think that was on that undercard of Ortiz and Wilder too on their pay-per-view. I was just glad, that he was able to turn it around for himself, because he looked really bad in that effort on that undercard of the heavyweights.
Yeah, Was hey, in that one of those knockdowns, did Bartholomew hit the guy while he was down?
He almost hit him while he was down. You talking about tonight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he almost hit him when he wasn't down. He was like crouched down and he punched him, and then when he went down, but he did not hit him when he was down. No.
Okay, yeah, that's all I had on that one, because I didn't really see any of the fights on this card right here.
Now,
but I did want part of that main one. I caught a little bit of it, but it looked like pure domination, so I was trying to finish up before this UGAS card ended up starting.
Oh, you talking about that Crowley versus Torres?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a washout. I gave Torres 1 round, which was the 9th. Okay, but basically I had Crowley beating the crap out of him, and it was the 8th round when Torres's dad told him in the corner, he said, look, I'm going to stop the fight because, you know, you're taking too much punishment out there. And that seemed to wake him up for the rest of the fight, because he fought the rest of the fight more engagingly. But he was taking punishment from Crowley up to that point. Crowley was hitting him with everything. They said that Crowley had sparred a number of rounds with Floyd Mayweather. So that's what his thing was, you know, going into the fight, what they had to say about him. Salute to G Funky out there. What's going on, G Funky? So based on the work, the good quality work he got with Floyd Mayweather, he came in there and he worked behind a good jab and everything. He's a southpaw, you know, and he was doing his thing. But Torres was trying to like counterpunch, but he didn't really have much on his punches. But when his dad told him he was going to stop the fight, that's when he kind of like woke up a little bit and he started shooting those right hands a little more. But that was, like I said, the 9th round, the 10th, 11th, and 12th. He fought better in those rounds, but not enough to win, but just 1 round, and that was that 9th round. But it was a walk-away victory for Crowley the rest of the way. So that's what that was with that fight. Now, there was a super lightweight fight with that guy Akhmedov and Ray Perez, and that ended up being a first round KO for Akhmedov. Now, if I'm not mistaken, didn't we cover Akhmedov earlier in the year or late last year, Reggie?
Let me go pull him up, because like I said, I didn't really see this card. I'm gonna pull him up.
Yeah, I could have sworn because that name Akhmedov, I could have sworn we've covered him. I just didn't remember, because, you know, I didn't know who was going to be on the undercard. So I was just like waiting to see the bouts. But I was writing his name down on my scorecard, and I was like, Akhmedov, we've talked about him before. That's the thing that this damn COVID, you know, the break from the sport, it kind of took that thing away from us of staying up on these guys while they were active, you know. Yeah, Bruce Goes, they said that he did some rounds with Floyd. I didn't recall how many rounds they said, so I didn't want to either overstate or understate how many rounds, but they said that he got some good work in the gym with Floyd Mayweather. And I can understand Floyd using him because he's a southpaw, so it's like, you know, that was good work for Floyd in the event that Floyd was fighting anybody, you know, that could pose a threat by switching up on him or something like that. So having that experience in the gym of a southpaw, you should always have a southpaw in the gym that you could get work in with, regardless of whether you're fighting a southpaw or not, just to keep yourself familiar with it. It's one thing to have that familiarity, and it's another thing to not have it at all. So a lot of gyms are looking to keep southpaws around nowadays just to have a guy to give you a look in that gym. Did you come up with it yet, Reggie?
Yeah, we have seen him. He fought on the Earl Spence versus Sean Porter undercard.
Okay.
Against Mario Barrios.
Okay, yes, there you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. These names, you know, they sound familiar. You'd be like, okay, it's just that we see so many fights. It's like, my goodness. But I know our resident stat man, Lawrence Williams, I know he says, Akhmadov fought Barrios on the Spence Porter card in a great fight. Yeah, there we go. See, I knew somebody would come up with it. Thanks, Lawrence Williams. Appreciate it. As well as, who was that? Somebody else said something.
Yeah, Lawrence be on top of this boxing. He know his shit.
Man, he do. That's why I call him the resident stat man, because he have it, bro. He have it. And G Funky says, as Stormy B Man, I'm just sipping some tequila and listening to you and Reggie. Nothing wrong with that, G Funky, man. Salute. You know, bottoms up, bro. That's right. This holiday weekend, man. Holiday tomorrow. Some people don't have to get up and go to the grind. That's all good, man. What's going on, Focus Ball? Good to see you, bro. Salute to you. Neutral Naturals out there says, I forgot about this card. My sleep schedule all messed up. So, yeah. But, yeah, so that Akhmadov, Reggie, he did away with Ray Perez in one round. It really wasn't much of anything. Soon as he got to laying his fist on the guy was laying on the canvas. So.
Oh, was it a lights out knockout?
Oh yeah, it was a first round knockout. I think he hit him with a body shot or something like that. Put him down. That was it. But I'm gonna tell you something. The first time he put the guy down a couple of times, right? The first knockdown, Reggie, he hit the dude on the right elbow. It wasn't a liver shot. It was right elbow, and the dude went down. And the camera angle that really showed that, they only showed it once. And they went to showing these other angles. And he went down. But he got up at the count of 9. And they let him continue, and then he went down a second time from a right hook to the left side of his body, and he went down from that, and that was it. He was counted out. But that first knockdown, it didn't look legit at all, because he hit the guy on the elbow. Now, Dan Goosen was trying to say to Lennox, oh yeah, sometimes when you get hit on that elbow, it could press into your rib cage, and he probably felt something like that. I'm like, nah, don't give me that one.
Boosie gonna say that to Lennox like he never boxed.
Funny thing about it, Lewis basically tried to agree with him, though. That's the funny thing. I'm like, man, these guys tried to make themselves, that wasn't legitimate. The guy was trying to look for a way out, man. Probably that Akhmadov hit him with something earlier that he was like, ooh, this guy can punch, But he just went down from the wrong thing. That's all. And they didn't know they was going to show that camera angle at first, because when they showed it, Dan Goosen was like, okay, here we go. We're going to take a look at the knockdown. It's a liver shot. And then Dan Goosen go, well, it looked like he actually hit the elbow. He didn't know that the replay was going to show that it hit the elbow solidly, because he thought it was a liver shot when it was in live action, right? But when it hit the elbow, you could hear Dan Goosen fumbling over his words, trying to describe the action. And what happened is they started showing it from different angles, but they never showed that one first angle that showed that it was clearly him getting hit on the elbow. They didn't show that one no more at all.
Man.
I guess the producers was up in the studio like, hey, don't show that angle no more. Don't show it from the other side. I'm telling you.
The producers are so trash on here. When they go to pull up a replay, they showing all the wrong shit.
I noticed, because you said that. You said it a few times during your broadcast tonight. You were like, Man, they showing some jacked up replays. Yeah, I heard you say. That's why I'm laughing so hard, because it was really evident from that first fight that between Akhmadov and Perez, because they really screwed up on that one. They did. Yeah, but and I think I got to, that was the first fight of the night. So, but yeah, this was the card, Reggie. You know, PBC putting people back out there. I don't know what we're going to do as far as what's next up on the horizon, but I know they better do a little bit better broadcasting and replays when we get to these other fights that are coming up on the horizon. You know, we got the
most definitely they have to.
Yeah, because we got the Earl Spence and Danny Garcia fight coming up. You know, there's another fight. What's the other fight? Oh, the Charlo brothers. We got that coming up. And that's supposed to be on Showtime pay-per-view, I think, right? The Charlo brothers.
Yes, I think a double header with them.
Yeah, a double header. And they'll be from different what do you call it? Different they're not going to be in the same place. It's like going to be a break between the action or something. Two different arenas, I think, with the Charlo brothers. So so what else you got, Reggie? I mean, it's, you know, the undercards, they were really lightweight this evening. You could tell that they were just kind of feeding the house fighters. But there were some matches that possibly could have been done a little better, you know, with matchups. But the UGAS fight, it was kind of anticlimactic to me, only because Ramos didn't go for it. I bet if he had really went for it, he could have been successful. And the funny thing about that is this: if you're gonna lose getting knocked out, bro. You know, it's like you got to punch, go out there and try to land your shot. If he gets you, he gets you. It's a loss, it's a loss. But if you get him, jackpot. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's like some of these guys don't seem to have the gumption to want to go out there and try to, you know, make an impact on history. They seem resigned to just kind of be glad to be invited to the dance, so to speak. I don't know, man.
No, you're absolutely right, man. And I was wanting to see him, you know, take it another notch or put more pressure, because you're seeing UGAS over there breathing deep. And matter of fact, it was one round when UGAS came up there, he immediately started backing up. And Ramos tried to press the attack a little bit. So it was like right then, that gave a sign. That's the other thing. UGAS has a very poor poker face. When something is done to him, he gives off signs that something happened. Like the other mistake of you hit him with a big shot, he smiles or he shakes his head no. He's tired. He gets to running and just changing things up. He gives away a lot that a fighter who pays attention to everything in the ring will pick up on it, and they'll know when to turn up on this guy.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, man, it's like if anyone looked like they didn't come just to be a part of the dance, it was that guy Linger tonight. That's why I give him his credit.
Oh, hell yeah. That's a badass cop, like I said. Promote Linger. He the police chief. Shit.
That dude, man, let me tell you something. He get into something in the streets, he ain't gonna pull his gun. He gonna pull his fist out, and they better be ready to go too, boy, because he gonna go the distance. That guy was something else, man. But I hope we see more fighters like that. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to cheer for people like that who are giving their all. You know what I mean? That's just like after to see Jamel Herring's disposition at the end of the fight, I wanted Okendo to win. I wanted him to get the belt because the other guy who was the champ was quitting because it got tough for him in there. Man, it gets tough for everybody. That's what the boxing is. It's a rough sport. Did he think that the guy was supposed to just be a gentleman and, you know, touch gloves after every round and slap him on the behind and say good punch and all of that? No, man, that guy's in there trying and bust you up. And he was doing it. And you had no answers for him. I'm sorry. That's just, you know, it's too many guys who work hard and don't get the payoff, you know? Too many. That's why it's a hard way to make a living, man. It really is.
Yeah, on the real.
So, I mean, you got anything else, man? Or you want to touch on anything else about the fights today?
No, that's all I had on these fights, man. I was just happy for us to get a Sunday card, man. Give something to fill the weekend with.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's one thing about PBC, man. They'll give us some Sunday fights from time to time. They have so many fighters under their umbrella. It's a very good thing. So I look forward to whatever's on the horizon on a Sunday down the line in the future with them as well. And like I said, I was more prepared to have the show ready this evening, you know, than I was last night because I had to set everything up last night after the fights. But today I had everything set up way before the fights ended. That's why I was able to just, you know, the only thing is I originally put a time in for like 11 o'clock because I didn't know how long everything would go. And then when I was ready to make the adjustment, I just pulled it back to, you know, 10 o'clock. So, but yeah, this was great, man. It was another good evening of boxing. And I'm glad to have been able to catch your broadcast. I like listening to you call the fights, you know. You be excited, man, when people get touched up. And I be like looking, I'm like, yeah. You know, I just was pissed off that my started buffering for the UGAS fight. It didn't buffer for any of the other matches. And then it's like, that's how it happens too, man. It's like, why I gotta be the main event, the main card? And I'm talking about after like the second or third round too. It didn't start before the fight. It was like after the fight had got underway. Watched all these other fights with no problem. And then when that main event card started, then it's going to start acting up. I hated that. But yeah, man, just remind everybody, Reggie, what you got going on and where they could find you, man. We're going to get ready to lock everything down for the evening, man.
Yeah, man, you guys can find me on Boxing Conversations, Reggie Owens. Both channels, same name. Second channel just has the number 2 on the end. And since I'm off tomorrow, shoot, I'm going to look for a good classic fight to do a play-by-play on. We'll go.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I could throw one at you, Reggie.
Let's go for it.
How about dang, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Ken Norton and Jerry Quarry.
All right, I'm getting this one down here. And yeah. I heard you say this one the other day.
You said what now?
If I had it written down already in here.
Oh, okay, cool. Ken Norton and Jerry Quarry. And what's another one I could give you? Try did you do Simon Brown and Tyrone Trice?
No.
Try that. They fought a couple of times.
Simon Brown, Tyrone Trice. Which one is the better?
Well, just start with the first one, because those two guys didn't like each other. They were like Morales and Barrera. They didn't like each other at all, man. So you can pick either one of them to fight, but I think they fought 3 times. But it's like the first fight was very good. Those 2 guys did not like each other. They did not get along at all. They were like Barrera and Morales, man. So that's another, just as good. But yeah, those are some good ones right there.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna go with Ken Norton and Jerry Corey.
Okay, sounds good, man. And make sure you put that reminder out when you're gonna do it, and I'll be right there to check you out, man. It's gonna be great to not have to get up in the morning to go to work, so I'll be ready. Excuse me, to be on some boxing tomorrow.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, sir. So we're going to go ahead and sign it on off for this evening. I want to thank everybody that came out to listen to us for this post-fight show here with UGAS versus RAMOS, PBC on Fox. And look for us to do another post-fight show as soon as we have more fights to cover in the aftermath. So I want to say salute to everybody out there. You guys enjoy your holiday weekend. And from my co-host here, Reggie Owens, and myself, we're going to say good night. Everybody have a good one. Peace and be safe.